Salutations, gamers, and welcome back to another edition of Late Night here on the Shuffle Squad's YouTube channel. I am Kyle Cooper Rios, joined by my friend Henry Ubel Peraza. We're here to bring you guys some hot, cool TCG live action tonight in the realm of Pokemon. The app updated this week. The UI looks cooler, I guess. It's a change. It's something, but we're out here. We are weeks away from our next regional. It's been a month since, actually, there's a regional happening this weekend, too, so we're going to have back-to-back weekends with stuff going on. But, Henry, salutations. Happy Wednesday. How are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, we're back. It's another Wednesday, another late night. Close to the season, getting into what feels like full swing after a little bit of a sabbatical going on right now.
Yeah, definitely a fun time for TCG right now. We'll talk more about some changes that are coming on the pipeline in 2025 as we get there. But we do have a match in progress right now. You want to check out what Rusty Shackelford from King of the Hill is doing in Matt and Voice Chat 1.
Yeah, I ain't sure what username he goes by in the late night tournament, but let's see what he's got.
Rusty Shackelford. I'll see you in a second. So
let's go.
All right, we are here, and we are playing video games. Let me just make sure everything looks kosher here. We can see everybody, and we look good. All right, cool. All right, so it looks like we got Charizard here on the side of Rusty Shackelford.
Yeah, and it's Miraidon on the other side, it looks like, if I'm looking at the cards, right? There's a Pikachu over there, a Miraidon, a Mew EX waiting in the wings, or rather, sitting in the active.
Yeah, so it looks like we got Indigo 9898 as Rusty Shackelford going up against XD Ash, rocking the Miraidon in a pretty classic matchup between some two long-standing decks, Henry. This matchup historically, not great for Miraidon, mostly because you struggle to scale your damage to hit Charizard, a deck that doesn't have problem damaging you in the late game. So curious to see how this pans out here. It appears that Indigo opted to go second, though, against Miraidon. Rightfully so. You wanted to give yourself the opportunity to slow down the turbo deck, and pretty standard chalk start here for Charizard. You're going second. You want to keep all liabilities off the board, and you're going to end with Cleffa in the active to draw you 7 cards. So pretty standard stuff here.
Yeah, keep the card economy in turbo, in rotation. You do see on the Miraidon side a ton of one-ofs, not only playing the Pikachu EX that we've seen in plenty of Miraidon lists, but also running that Magnemite Magneton setup too. I feel like a lot of decks are playing one or the other and not both. This one is choosing to opt for both, which makes at least enough sense. You do want to keep Magneton up and ready to go, so when your electric generators do hitting for 2 that time, you're able to cycle back basic energy cards from the discard pile with Magneton.
Yeah, I think Magneton is... Yeah, Magneton's going to be huge in this matchup here, but we're going to see a pretty fair weather return here on the other side here for Asher K. You are going to get the 2 prize cards here with Iron Hands, and it's also huge that you have that that Bravery Charm on the Iron Hands as well. It's going to result in more resources, possibly having to be burnt on the side of Indigo to get this KO, because I think even with the Defiance Band, Charizard would only be hitting... Okay, never mind, Lost Vacuum. Forget everything I just said. Be gone with your extra 50 HP.
I mean, you're right, though. Like, it did force a Lost Vacuum to come out to burn a card in hand, burning the Lost Vacuum early as opposed to a little bit later when you might want to spend it on something like a Area Zero Underdepths, given how this new form of Miraidon really does like to have that stadium online. And there's 0 stadiums, I believe, on the side of the Charizard. So once that Lost Vacuum is used, you're free to slam down that stadium and just have it up for the rest of the game.
And this might just set up like a pretty rough board state here for Asher. A lot of that turn was premeditated on not having the Bravery Charm taken off that's Iron Hands. So now that allows Indigo to freely get rid of the Defiance Band, not needing the extra damage buff to get over the hump, And that is going to wipe a lot of energy off the board and your only real setup offensive threat.
Yeah, it makes for a very tenuous type of situation from on both sides. Even if the Charizard is unable to stick around, then you're kind of left without any sort of access to a Pidgeot. You're forced to burn that Arven as opposed to trying to go on the offensive to get to the bosses by using bosses orders. Meanwhile, the Ultra Ball is slammed down, discarding the Latias and another boss's order in order to get a Pheasantipity, which is ready to draw 3 cards. The entire bench is full, and the Electric Generator as the last card. Only hitting 2 again. Yeesh, these Electric Generators are hitting in this first game, and we're drawing 3 cards off the Mew and 3 cards off the Pheasantipity to completely refill the hand. We're turboing through our entire deck. Just one on the second generator, though, Koopa.
Oh, okay. Do we hear a third one here? I think we're gonna need to hit 2 here to knock out the Charizard. And we do in fact hit 2. So what was looking like a pretty grim. Oh my gosh, jeez, calm down. Actually, I think they needed the 7th one there. I believe Dynamic Spark is 60 times for every lightning energy you discard. So if I do my math correctly, yeah, I think you need the full 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So 6 times 6 is 360. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with Asher's return turn right there. It was looking pretty grim, but sequences that very well, making sure to get the maximum outs out of all of your draw Pokemon and comeback Pokemon. That was some pretty efficient stuff. But the top deck of the Arven there, pretty gnarly stuff there for Indigo. That is going to allow them to get right back on the offensive here. And you had to burn a lot of resources to get to that KO there, Henry. You had to go through 3 electric generators. So scoring on knockout here just might be might be the problem here. It looks like we're going to go for the unfair stamp with an attempt to maybe draw into that last piece you need, or at least slow down Asher enough for the following turn. You'll be able to get what you're looking for. Unfortunately, they're gonna come up a hair short. They got the rare candy, but unfortunately was unable to find the Charizard. So we're gonna have to take a turn off here. But 2-card hand for Miraidon. No draw engine on board outside of, unless they get a playable card from their hand, they're able to maybe draw 1 with Mew. But we're gonna at least could possibly survive this turn. Give Indigo an opportunity to maybe win the game on the next turn. And we'll see if Asher has anything in that hand there.
Just the 1 lightning energy, but the 60 plus weakness will be enough to knock out the Manaphy. It is the only choice to try and stall out this 1 turn.
Well, you need that. But you do need that second energy though. Dynamic Spark is a 2 energy attack. So.
Oh yes.
Fast charge though. That'll do.
Yeah, but it does mean the Manaphy sticks around, and you're not able to take the knockout on this Manaphy, which is important because it leaves the Dusclops potential as well for the Dusk Noir online for this turn if a big swing is going to be attempted from Indigo here, which seems like they're trying to build up for it.
Ooh, this
search.
Awkward.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
There's only 1 fire energy left in the deck right now, so quick search. It could have been easy. You could have just gotten the Charizard and essentially should kind of put your opponent in checkmate. But because the resources are so low, I don't know. Maybe you prize another fire energy. I believe this list only plays 5, but yikes, that's really gonna put a wrinkle into things here.
Are we going to pivot to a Radiant Charizard line then with only 1 fire energy left?
That's not a terrible idea, but I guess the Iono's not going for the Iono doesn't hurt. You're not giving your opponent any extra card draw. You're still limiting them to a 2-card hand, but still doesn't feel great. Gonna go for I like this. Going for the Thornton. Thornton a very nifty supporter card. You swap a basic in your discard for a basic on your in your active field or on anywhere on your field. So gonna Cleffa out, or excuse me, gonna Thornton into the Cleffa and draw a full hand of 7 while also keeping your opponent's hand size incredibly low.
Yeah, it kind of keeps the same position that you were in the previous game and the previous turn. You're accruing more resources and you're setting up for a big turn, still pivoting away from Dusclops. So you are surrendering that resource, especially because the singular attack will be used for the 60 damage to get rid of the Cleffa, taking the final prize card, which means it's Radiant Charizard and a Dream here. 4 Steelstone off the top means you get to search for a supporter, a search off the quick search, and a search off the 4 Sealstone. Plenty of just immediate access to basically the entire deck at the disposal, especially with this Arven supporter card potentially being chosen. Already has an Arven in hand. Already has a boss in hand too. So
Yeah,
don't
I
really need
yeah,
any of it.
it's gonna be interesting to see how you navigate this here. You still need to get those fire energies back into the deck, or I guess we could just go the route of the. Okay, no, looks like we're gonna go for the super rod here. Get those fire energies back into the deck, and then maybe I ono your opponent to 1, and then hopefully be able to draw the other pieces you need here. But it just makes things a little bit awkward. Because you're also going to have to bank on drawing back into that rare candy. So we're going to quick search. Okay, no, never. I didn't know it didn't use quick search. Okay, so you just quick search for the. But there's. Oh no, where's the Charizard?
Too.
Oh
Oh,
baby.
no.
Oh no.
Everything's prized.
I guess both Charizards ended up in the discard pile at some point. Again, these Charizard lists are so like airtight. You're playing incredibly thin lines of everything, so it makes for some uncomfortable late game situations. So let's see, we could go for the counter catcher here, eliminate the draw engine. I think that's probably the best course of action to go for here. Yep. Pheasantipity is not your friend here. So eliminate the draw engine, and it's in the hand of the Pokemon gods right now. So let's see.
And you get your Charizard.
Yeah,
unfortunate that the evolution to the Charmeleon already happened, but I guess it kind of doesn't matter because now you just go straight to Charizard instead of going through rare candy. I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right, we nest ball here, so we're gonna at least be able to thin out the deck. I guarantee we're gonna get a max draw of 3 here. We just need 1 lightning energy in a deck that probably plays a lot of it. Oh, we found the Arven.
Yeah, 15 lightning energies, which means we can go Arven for Night Stretcher for the energy, attach it right onto that Raikou, and punch for maximum damage. Only 1 prize card remaining. That's going to be game 1 going to Ash.
Yeah, that was a real grind them out game there for Ash. This matchup is not easy for Miraidon. Again, you really have to commit a lot of resources, and we saw that was the case there to get a knockout on the Charizard, 360 damage. It's not easy to hit those numbers. So you had to waste a lot of resources to get there, but given how the prize cards shook out there for Indigo, it made navigating that late game just a little bit uncomfortable, and they try to play their routes the best that they can. Counter catcher stalling, Iono's in the end game, but being able to just draw into exactly what you need at the right time worked out very well for Ash.
This opening hand does work. Cleffa in the opening hand is never a bad thing to see. You typically search it anyway. A mulligan on the side of Asher. Only the one, though.
We'll take the free draw. I'm curious. Okay, yeah. Asher Indigo probably opting to go second. Again, you want to slow Miraidon down. Make sure to keep your bench as liability free as you can. And you start your optimal starter here when going second into Cleffa. So you don't mind giving up those 2 prize cards. And oof, kind of a tough start here. That Squawk and Seas squawked into nothing there. So
that opening hand was Squawkabilly 6 energy.
Yeah, that sounds about
Brutal.
right. That's just
And you
Maridon
squawk.
things, baby.
I mean, yeah, but it's still unlikely. Like 15 cards in your only 15 cards are energy in the deck, right? 16, 15 lightning energy, one double turbo. Like you're expecting to see something, but yeesh, six of those seven being your one double turbo and five other lightning energy, and you only squawked into a Mew. This kind of gets a free reign for a slower setup and a slower developing turn, as if you're going first here on the side of, excuse me, on the side of Indigo. Gets to go Rotom into a Forest Sealstone, fetch out whatever they want, going for the Buddy Poffin, getting a plenty of more basic Pokemon onto the bench, including the another Charmander and a Pidgey seems to be the lock-in, and it is just fully set up. Instant charge for 3, pass turn.
Yeah, you brought up a great point, and like that opening turn for Asher was so uh, anemic that it's almost as if they were going second anyway. So their game plan doesn't really change much here. They at least have the energy attached to the Squawkabilly to pivot out of the active in the event that they can't find like their Latias. Being on the back foot that hard kind of stinks, especially in this matchup because you really rely on that Raichu. You really rely on that Raichu to help hit those big KOs on Charizard, and you need the Magnemite in order to establish that. So that slow start could come back to haunt Asher here, given how this hand is looking pretty solid on the other side here for Indigo. But we are going to get the Nest Ball for the Maridon. So let's see what we're going to be able to grab here. Tandem Unit's going to search out 2 Lightning Pokemon from the deck and put them onto the bench. It's going to be Raikou and the Iron Hands. And I saw the Forest Sealstone grabbed off of that Arvin as well, which leads me to believe that we could be getting oh no, I was going to say we could possibly see the Area Zero come into play here, but bench locked. So instead it was going to be the Electric Generator, and I think that was a whiff. How about a second one? Oh God,
Oof. 0 for 2.
swing batter.
I mean,
That stinks.
you did pitch 6 lightning energies into the, or 5 rather, into the discard. So you're only going to be able to restart for 1. There's only so many left, and Squawk is going to hit for 20, fetch a card out, fetch an energy out, slowly setting up that Iron Hands. I am a little surprised we didn't see the first Maridon go for Pikachu and a second Maridon. Instead, we just went straight for the Raikou and the Iron Hands.
So I
But
think the line of play there was you want to just try to get on the board with some type of damage. I think you need the Forest Sealstone in order to do that. So you had to get the Raikou. Maybe the Pikachu's prize. I'm not quite sure, but again, yeah, having to go the motivate route here never feels good. Motivate does 20 damage, and you accelerate 2 basic energies from your discard pile onto one of your Pokemon. So loading up this Iron Hands, and without a Dusclops to proc here, that Iron Hands is at least going to live to see the second turn here. So we'll see what the play is going to be here. Again, just going to go for the classic stuff. Rare Candy Pidgeot, Rare Candy Charizard, get Infernal Rain onto the board. But by opting to go for that Motivate play, you leave Squawkabilly here in the active. So Charizard's going to be able to take an early KO on a bench-sitting EX Pokemon. So that's going to be bode very well for Indigo here.
yeah, it's kind of brutal, right? As soon as any amount of setup was able to be shown, because Indigo got a chance to got the chance to set up a longer developing Pidgeot, which means you got to Rotom twice and go through all of these supporter cards and trainer cards on a more developed pace. That just let any amount of threat go up on the opposing side of the board, on Ash's side of the board, meant it was time to go full send with Pidgeot, Charizard, and the full swing. A big boss's orders, though, from Asher getting out the Iron Hands instantaneously, going up for the arm press to hit for weakness as well to one-hit KO, take 2 prize cards, and even up the prize math. But this Charizard is just ready to come out yet again, and you get to Pheasantipity this turn. Yeesh. Momentum clearly on the side of Indigo.
Yeah, both players getting kind of real lucky with these top decks. Obviously, being able to take that knockout of the Pidgeot, always helpful here. But getting the Pheasantipity as well is just gonna open up more lines of play here for Indigo. We're gonna establish some more small guys. We have a Duskull still and another Pidgey to set up, and Burning Darkness again just gonna eviscerate the Raichu here, recognizing that that is the threat you want to eliminate as soon as you can, and yep, there we go. I think Asher realizing that like once the prize race is off, and your only real way to get back into the game was with that Raichu. Too many resources gone. We're gonna sack it. Punt it, punt it on 4th down, and then we're gonna go back to game 3 here, see if things bode better.
Yeah, it happens, right? Whenever you get into that prize war with Charizard, and the Charizard is just set up 2 for 2ing every time, and only scaling damage further, it makes it makes it a little bit hard to try and even up the score count. But the tails will be hit. Game 3 is where we will go to. It's the reason we play best of 3s.
Yes, sir. And again, it just bodes for why this matchup is just so tough. Charizard's a tough matchup for a lot of decks, but like Charizard does so well into these turbo decks because the turbo decks are really good at going fast, but Charizard's, in very rare instances, these decks are like they're not built for these like late game comebacks. Just because they're designed to go, super fast in the one direction. So forcing Charizard to go first here, though, that could bode well here for Asher. They're going to get a true chance to go. They're going to play the game the way that the Pokemon gods intended.
I don't think they have a Pidgey in their deck.
Oh, or both? Oh my!
Oh no!
Pidgey is out to lunch.
And is there a...
Let's double check one more time. Oh no!
Oh no!
Kirby, stop smiling.
Kirby did not like this. There's no Hisuian Heavy Ball in the deck as well. Choosing not to play it because you're playing 2 Pidgeys. Like, what are the odds, right? Like they're gonna hit both of them, but no. The deck is super tight and only 2 Pidgeys, which means both of them are in the prize pool, and one of your big means of consistency is just off the table. It's a nice pivot to Rotom, to draw 3 cards, and then you have the Cleffa as well to draw up to 7. So the resource gain will still be there, especially with 4 Sealstone in hand. Man, not being able to develop a Pidgey early is rough. And then the Latias comes down, instantly freeing up so much of the pivoting from the Miraidon deck. Squawk and Seizing, discard 3, draw 6. Area 0 Underdepth is played. Miraidon is pulled off the Squawk and Seize. Off to the races. Asher goes.
Yep, pretty big bench here. I'd also love to get like the math statistics as to like what the odds are prizing both your Pidgeys are in that scenario. Someone much smarter than me will figure that out. I'll do the math gradually over the next 3 hours, and I'll forget about it in the morning. But yeah, pretty sick start here for Asher on their side. Again, Miraidon is a deck that is programmed to want to go second. We're going to see the Iron Bundle come down, which means that we're going to see a push of one of these guys come up. It's probably going to be the Duskull because you don't want to give up 2 prize cards and you don't want to give up your out into your only Charizard on the following turn. So,
all right, so you draw before your so it's a 60 card deck, but you draw before you place your prize cards. So
yes,
you're down 7, so it's a 53 card deck actually, and the prize cards are 6. So you're looking for Pidgey, which is 2. Your That's 2 for 2. So that is a you have 2 Pidgeys in your 6-card hand size. You're hitting exactly both of them. So yeah, 1% chance.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yep.
Go buy that lottery ticket, man. Like, good
Yeah.
on you.
Try your luck. Yeah.
I would.
Shoot your
That's
shot.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. The Iron Bundle's Hyper Blower has been procced, and okay, no subsequent energy to get the attack off here. Less than a 1% chance. Oh my god, that's freaking nuts, man. I love math. I love little silly stuff like that. That's crazy. All right, so despite all that though, Asher getting a break here. Not being able to find that last piece to get the knockout here. So now we are going to attach for a Seal Stone. We're most likely going to grab the Charizard here. However, kind of an awkward spot because we have 3 fire energies in the hand, Henry. There's only 5 in the deck. And there's only... Okay, so we still have 1 to attach from hand, though. As long as 1 energy is still in the deck, then we're chilling here, but...
Yeah, you're not getting max value. And the Super Rod to shuffle back is certainly helpful. But just a not so friendly draw from the side of Indigo here. But we're getting the minimum on to instantly have this Charizard that can attack. You still have your attach for turn as well to make sure that the Duskull can retreat.
Yep. Again, you have to
or
burn...
Or perplex.
No, unfortunately, does not have the psychic energy to perplex. Oh, okay. Recognizing that you're ahead pretty big right now, and you're not going to be able to hit into this Iron Hands for a knockout anyway. So you're basically, falling on the sword for this turn, knowing that your Charizard's protected, knowing that for all intents and purposes, your Rotom's probably protected. Only 1 prize card. Oh, never mind. There's double turbo energy. So 2 prize cards will be taken. And a Bravery Charm is down on the Iron Hands again. So we're seeing a very similar situation to what we saw in that first game, Henry, where Iron Hands is set up to be, the opening course here. But in the first game, Indigo hit the nuts on the subsequent turn to make Iron Hands a non-factor. So we'll see if... we can see a repeat of that, or if Asher will be able to see some staying power here with this Paradox Pokemon.
Yeah, without the Lost Vacuum, taking 2 prize cards was absolutely free in that moment because the damage here on Burning Darkness is only going to be 240, and then with the Defiance Band, does it make up enough?
Well, Defiance Band would be 270.
Oh yeah, 10 off.
So
needs that one way to remove a Pokemon tool, which is the Lost Vacuum. Isn't able to find it off the flip the script. I do like going for that line, as that's the way to get the Iron Hands off the board as soon as possible. But now you're free. That Iron Hands is going to be able to slam in for some massive damage on the lone Charizard that has been set up. Rare Candy in hand, so potential to get more. But with no immediate access to Charizard either, you're kind of taking the slow route for your next attacker whenever this Charizard goes down, which seems to be, if probably not in the next turn with 330 HP, but this is a 2-hit KO.
Uh-oh.
The Raikou set up on the bench, or we just go for the boss's orders and maximize all damage and prize card taking. Amp you very much on the Duskull to take 2 more prizes. This Iron Hands was going down anyway. No need, might as well try and get max value, and Iron Hands kind of took over the game.
Yeah, this is tough spot to be in here. We're gonna flip the script. We're not gonna hit the supporter we need here. We needed some hand disruption. I'm curious of the supporter lineup in Asher's deck, but man, this is just not the spot you want to find yourself in. And again, it speaks for how very important Pidgeot is to the equation here for Charizard. So And yeah, there's 4 bosses orders in the deck. There's no telling that, that might not already be in the hand here. So we're going to Burning Darkness for 330 damage, knocking out the Pheasantipity, taking away the card draw, and just hoping that your opponent doesn't have the sauce.
You're set up next turn at least to get a little bit more explosive with the Pidgey and the rare candy. Hisuian Heavy Ball just to see what's over there. Free retreat into whatever you see fit here, even if the chance for a Raichu setup or develop at least is on the table.
We do have a fully set up Raikou on the bench, so Lightning Rondo with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's the math on attack always like freaks me. It's 20 plus 10 for every bench Pokemon, so I don't think you're hitting for quite enough for a knockout here. Okay, but we're gonna pivot into. Okay,
20...
no, we're gonna go for an Iono.
Oh yeah, cutting down the sheer number of resources. Did he restart yet this turn?
Okay, it's 20. It's 20 plus for every bench Pokemon you have down. So.
Well, we're just gonna arm press here, not going for the restart. I believe he already used it earlier in the turn. 140 damage is a good start, especially since you're pretty set up from bench Pokemon.
That's a huge top deck.
Yeah, this Lost Vacuum is going to take the knockout on the Iron Hands right off the jump.
Oh my god, and we have the boss in hand. We can knock out the Raikou too. Just take out all the offensive threats. Are you kidding me?
and that's the win. That just wins the game.
Oh, never mind. Okay, no. They can't use boss.
Oh yeah, they Arvent.
They Arvent. Okay,
yeah,
we're safe.
So this Pikachu will be able to survive one blow, as it's known to do.
that's what makes that's what everyone knows Pikachu from the anime. It's taking a punch in the face from Charizard.
Yeah, absolutely a hit. It should not be able to take, but does anyway. With the Resolute Heart.
Yeah, I mean you have to punch into this thing. That's okay. No, we're just gonna retreat out. Not a bad call. You do have the Super Rod in hand to get that energy back. You're basically just you have to sack something here. You have to give up a 1 prize or hope that Iona to 2 or excuse me that disruption to 2 makes a difference. We're gonna instant charge. Just keep the hand size big here and hope that your opponent doesn't have it.
Yeah. What cards can be played with the Latias already on board though? The retreat cost for any basics is free. So getting into the fleet-footed
Raikou. Hello.
See ya. What is that doing there?
That's mostly probably a control archetype.
Can attach an energy card. When you attach an energy card from your hand to this Pokemon, you may switch it to your active Pokemon. Neat.
Yeah, and it does 20 for every colorless energy in your opponent's retreat cost. So it's good into like Snorlax stall, which is like historically a pretty bad matchup for this deck. Okay, no, not taking the knockout here, knowing that it would give up the Pheasantipity, that it would activate the Fez here. So, okay, we got some things we can do here. However, we have no means of reestablishing another Charizard right now. So, it could be a Radzard angle, but you still have no way of getting the Charmander out of the active. Oh my gosh, this is awkward.
Tell me about it here, Kyle. Like, we're just watching 2 players play this weird chicken dance, trying to see if they can bait one or the other into overcommitting into 1 prize, both playing on razor thin margins of error. We really just going to instant charge. We are just going to instant charge to get the second Charizard, a second boss's orders, and a prior.
Yeah, this is finding the Charizard is huge. So you will be able to super rod those guys back in, those energies back, and then just evolve into the evolve from the Charmeleon on the bench. But again, this is just such a weird spot to be in here. Neither player wanting to take the odd prize card. Here comes a Secret Box. I think that helps you get the boss's orders here.
3.
Yep,
3
there we go.
That's the boss. The boss gets the Charizard, and the Charizard with only 100 or 190 health remaining, taking 280 thanks to all the cards on the bench, all those Pokemon set up in waiting in the wings. Area 0 under deaths will technically activate, but the game is over. And Indigo drops to Asher 2-1 in a well played game.
Yeah, that was just those prizing the Pidgeot definitely stinks there. Not having access to that to that once per turn engine search is tough. But in the meantime, let's send it back to us, Henry, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as this round finishes out.
For sure.
All right, and we're back with us. Yeah, again, that was that matchup is always very interesting to me. Again, historically,
Yeah.
not a great matchup for Miraidon, just having that hard cap of damage you're able to do. And like I said, usually Magneton's a much bigger factor in that matchup because you sometimes need that to help you get over the hump to get those energies on board for the Raichu knockout. But nah, just kind of some very timely top decks. Getting the Iron Hand set up early in the game definitely helps you against Charizard because they play so many small guys. So that was just a very hard fought, grind them out type of game from Asher. So kudos to them. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and I think a matchup like that really goes to exemplify how important the early game setup is for both decks and why a turbo deck can seemingly always try to play through even bad matchups because you're able to establish some sort of dominance on the board very quickly, whether it be Miraidon or whether it be the long neck. What's the name?
Raging Bolt?
The Raging Bolt as
There we
well.
go.
Very, very turbo.
Uncle
heavy
Raikou?
attack. Yeah, that guy. My goat. The fact that like a matchup can swing poorly in the long game can certainly be a problem, but Raging Bolt can sometimes just get out of hand really quickly and have some big damage turns really early if you play your cards right, if you sequence right, and if you see the right hands. And you know what? We saw that same thing happen with the Iron Hands being able to take 4 prize cards in a couple of turns and really set the ball behind on Indigo. Indigo played through it pretty well, even with no Pidgey, but you're just so far behind that for multiple turns, it was just, if I get bosses ordered, I lose.
Yeah, that's tough, especially again, you're seeing a lot of these turbo decks play like whether it's the 4 Pokemon catchers in like Raging Bolt and Roaring Moon, or in this case the 4 bosses orders.
Yeah.
Once you get set up, it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna pick apart your support Pokemon, and then there's really not much you can do about it just to kind of keep my prize race up. So Miraidon is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And listen, get used to your V Pokemon while you can, folks. Rotation is nearing. We got the official date for that over the last couple of days. Last week, rotation is happening April 11th in IRL. So pouring out for the Sword and Shield block. That'll reflect online at the end of March. That usually happens like a week or two beforehand. So looks like our first regional in the new post-rotation era is going to be in Atlanta coming up in April. So that's going to be fun to say the least. But let's talk a little bit about some of the matches we got here tonight, Henry, while we wait for one of these matches to finish. So we got let's see, we got Eriki L. They're playing Terapagos. They won over Shira. Moon Kitty Shira, she's a staple here in the late night. They're playing, it looks like Eriki's playing one of my favorite decks right now, which has been dubbed in some circles as seafood poisoning, with Cloth Terapagos. The decks that want to power themselves up with the poison engine and then hit for big damage.
I
So
love when players do that because like the conventional naming of decks always comes down to like, oh, it's like what are the mainstays, what are the big
yeah.
highlights, what are the things, like maybe one or two things that are being blended, like, oh, Snorlax stall, like Terapagos, uh, seafood poisoning, perfect, we need
We got to
more of
bring
that.
back funny deck names, man.
We got to
That's
bring back funny
yeah.
deck names.
There's a I don't remember exactly what makes up the deck, but there was a deck that won Worlds a few years ago. I think it was called the Truth. Yeah, I forget. It was like way before my time. I don't remember exactly what makes up that deck or not, but like it's
and stuff like that, you can bring back funny deck names, also brings back like cool deck names, because there's a classic deck in for any Yu-Gi-Oh fans. I'm gonna bring it up again. Welcome to Late Night with Henry. um,
yeah.
there was a deck back in 2006, I believe, where the main deck of the format was named Perfect Circle, because it was just this perfect resource loop centering around a Destiny Hero Diamond Dude. And it's like, that is a amazing that's a amazing deck name. Like, come on, we can get creative.
We love to see it. All right, going down the list of what else we got here. Shira was playing. They were playing Dragapult Pidgeot, which I think they're playing with the Luxray EX as well. So it looks like a bit of a control package in here. So interesting stuff. Some nifty cards. They have the Mawile from Lost Origins that locks in the active. So gives you some Pokemon to hide behind while you get your guys set up. You got the Mimikyu in there. A lot of the Grief Pokemon to help you get your guys set up, which can be hard for Dragapult sometimes. OG She was essentially a first round buy. They're rocking a fun deck in the last couple weeks, which is the Archaludon EX. That's been kind of a hot like sleeper meta pick for the last
Yeah, it's been
couple
a
of
hot
weeks.
topic. Yeah, like,
Big
is it
Bridge.
good? Big Bridge. I think it's cool, and I also think it has legs to stand on. Pun
Yeah.
entirely intended. Uh, but I also think like it is definitely like something you have to build for if you are planning to go to one of these regionals. Like, you
Yeah.
should probably have some sort of plan for the bridge.
I think especially now, like while we're still in this like in the twilight of what this format is, and especially with like prismatic evolutions coming out, things don't really change that much. You get like a couple new cards, but like for the most part, things stay the same. Um, Reggie Drago is going to be like the big bad for until like all these cards go away forever. So it's like you have to kind of look at the field. It's like, okay, like what are some cards that have a decent Reggie Drago matchup? And I think our Caledon uh, does have that just because it's like right out of the range of where Reggie Drago can knock you out. So you can take a hit, you can dish it back. You play enough. You also play the Dialga V Star, which is broken. Like being able to take an extra turn, kind of sick. So we'll see if that's got any legs. They're up against Jones Diaz, who's rocking Miraidon. OG She's up 1-0. The
And
Memorious. Okay, go ahead.
no, and like to your point, like even counting through the limitless TCG database, Reggie Drago is by a slim margin. Well, not by a slim, but like it's separating itself as the top deck with a 21% play rate in the limitless database, with Charizard being number 2 at 13%. So that's an 8% margin, which is quite substantial, even if it's not dominating the field from a overall, like it's not
Yeah,
60% of all decks, but it is like 21% compared to 13 is a pretty hefty margin.
yeah, for sure. So going down the line here, we got the Memorious. They are rocking Palkia Noctowl. They won against Gear Dry in our top 16, playing Tropicos Dusknar. They are currently playing against Unknown Gamer T, rocking Lugia Archeops. Good night, Sweet Prince. Unknown Gamer T. Wow, they won against Dragapult Iron Thorns. That matchup is that matchup is poopy and bad, but well, Iron Thorns itself is bad for Lugia. I think the Dragapult makes it kind. I think that deck's kind of fake personally, but hey, it's cute. It does things. It stops you in your tracks. Fittipaldis, they were playing Dragapult. I think they're playing Dragapult with with the ghosts. Okay, so you play it with Dustnor. It was a bit of a popular build like earlier in the Stellar Crown format, but kind of fell by the wayside a bit. But still pretty good. I actually think it gets better with the new Badu from Prismatic Evolutions that like stops your opponents from using items on their next turn. That guy's gonna be everywhere. So
Yeah, and
they
I
lost
think
to.
Dragapult is worth exploring at least a little bit, right? Because not only with the Iron Thorns build, and then you have the Ghost build with the Dustmore line, but also because Reggie Drago's leaving and Phantom Dive has been one of the most popular attacks used by Reggie Drago after rotation, it's good to experiment with it now to see just how the deck can function. So when later engines and later stuff comes out, like the Badu line, you can be more familiar with how the deck kind of can orchestrate itself.
Yeah,
Not bad to experiment.
yeah, no, I think that deck's gonna see a lot more play. Just because I think it's one of the better. I think decks that play like stage one draw engines, like I think Gardevoir and I think Dragapult, they're gonna see a lot more play because they can at least function under item lock for the most part.
Yes.
So that's gonna make them a little bit more appealing to the masses. And in our final top 16 match, which we're waiting to finish out here, Cristiano, who's rocking Reggie Drago, again, not a surprise, pretty by the bones Reggie Drago list here. Nothing super crazy. I still think 2 energy in this deck is like not enough, personally, but they're going up against Rick Astley, and I
Nice.
think yeah, never gonna give you up, I guess. So it looks like they won 2-1 over Rick Astley. So uh, good on them. That match, Rick Astley, I think they were also playing the bridge. So yeah, tough matchup. So good on them for you being able to figure that one out. So
Okay. And with OG Shi beating Jones Diaz as well, just in the recent moments, locks in OG Shi and Arcaludon as our first top 4 member of the late night. Uh, the other matchups being Eriki up against Ash, who we saw a little earlier, the Memorius up against Unknown Gamer T, and then Actual Trash up against Cristiano to round things out for
cool.
the top 8. We
All
don't
right. Well,
have any players.
not yet. So we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna figure out what the rest of what our next stream match looks like. So hang tight, get a glass of water. We'll be right back on the other side of this break, folks. All right, guys, it's us again. So, after some deliberation, it looks like we do not have any more streamable matches for you guys tonight. We thought we would have one, but it appears that our one streamer is unavailable for the evening. Tragic, but we did get at least one really good game out of
Yeah,
this
yeah.
tonight, so that's always promising to have. So, thanks you guys for hanging out with us for this brief little instance of time tonight. And Henry, as always, it's a pleasure to sit down and yap with you for a bit. So let the people know where they can
Absolutely.
find you.
You can find me at UBL267 on Twitter and on Blue Sky for all of my various yappings and conversations. As for where I'll be in person, I don't know what event I'll be going to next, but I'll sure be there when I will be. Kyle, how
Yep.
about you?
I hear that. You guys can find me on Twitter at KoopaNJ across platforms. I will. There'll be one more late night before San Antonio, so you guys will see me before then. But if you're, I'll also be in San Antonio regionals next weekend. So looking forward to that. Yeehaw, partner. And obviously make sure to subscribe to the Shuffle Squad, all that good stuff. We're gonna have a lot of cool content coming out beforehand as we're leading up into San Antonio. So we hope you guys are as excited as we are. And from us here at Late Night, we'll catch you guys here next week. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.